Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's be honest. Have you ever just stood in the cooking oil aisle completely lost? Yeah, you're not alone. Today, we're going to cut through all that noise and figure out what you should actually be using in your kitchen. All right, let's just dive right in. We are tackling one of the most heated topics in nutrition today. I'm talking about the big showdown, traditional ancient ghee versus modern industrial seed oils. It's a debate that's, well, it's all over social media, and it's probably happening in your kitchen, too. You know the story, right? If you've scrolled through social media for even 5 minutes, you've seen it. Seed oils, like canola, soybeans, sunflower oil, they get painted as these absolute villains, the bad guys in your pantry, causing all sorts of problems. And then, on the other side, you've got ghee, hailed as this pure ancestral hero. So you've got this clear picture. Ghee is the good guy, praised for its stability, its history, and seed oils, they're the bad guys, accused of causing inflammation, lurking in all our processed foods. But what if it's not that simple? What if this whole hero versus villain story is actually missing the real point? To figure that out, we've got to go back, way back. So let's trace the history here. How did we even get to this point? And believe it or not, the story of modern cooking oil starts with, well, a toxic waste product from the cotton industry. No, I'm not kidding. See, the rise of seed oils had nothing to do with nutrition. It was all about industrial ingenuity. Back in the late 1800s, cottonseed oil was literally just industrial gunk nobody wanted. But then, chemists figured out how to bleach it, deodorize it, and, this is the big one, hydrogenate it to turn this liquid waste into a solid fat. And in 1911, boom, Crisco hits the market, sold as this clean, modern, healthier choice over old-fashioned lard. Then, fast forward to the 1950s, the whole lipid hypothesis thing starts demonizing animal fats. And just like that, seed oils were ready and waiting to take over every kitchen in America. Okay, so forget the marketing for a second. The real difference between ghee and seed oils, and this is the key to everything. It's not about history, it's about basic chemistry. It all comes down to their molecules and how those molecules behave when things get heated. Just look at these numbers. Ghee is loaded with saturated fat, like 65%. Soybean oil, on the other hand, is mostly polyunsaturated fat, 58%. They're basically chemical opposites. And that single fundamental difference in their makeup, it changes everything about how they act in your pan. And this chart just makes it so clear. Look at that massive slice for ghee. 65% of it is stable saturated fat. That's its superpower. That molecular structure is exactly what gives ghee its rock-solid properties, especially when you start cooking with it. Okay, here's a super simple way to think about this. Imagine saturated fat, the stuff in ghee, as a straight, rigid chain. It's strong, it's solid. Now, picture polyunsaturated fat, the main player in seed oils, as a flexible chain with a bunch of kinks in it. And those kinks? Those are its weak spots. And it's those weak spots that cause all the trouble when you turn up the heat. So here's the absolute crucial takeaway. The whole debate, this fight over which fat is better, it's the wrong question. The only question you should be asking is, what am I about to do with it? Because the second you add heat, the entire game changes. All right, before we dive deeper, there's one term we absolutely have to get straight. This smoke point. You've seen it, right? It's that temperature where your oil stops looking pretty and starts smoking. That smoke is a giant warning sign. It means the oil is breaking down, chemically changing, and creating some nasty stuff you probably don't want to eat. Okay, now look at this table. At a quick glance, you might think, hey, the smoke points for ghee and soybean oil are pretty close. But that's not the whole story. The most important column here is that last one, oxidative stability. See that? Ghee is very high. The seed oils, low. What that tells us is that long before those seed oils even start smoking, their unstable molecules are already starting to fall apart under the heat. And that's why ghee is such a beast in the kitchen. That high percentage of stable, saturated fat gives it this incredible resilience. I mean, a smoke point of 485 degrees Fahrenheit, you can throw almost anything at it. Sear a steak, deep fry, whatever, and it just holds up. So what exactly happens when those unstable oils, the ones with the weak spots, get too hot? Well, they go through something called thermo-oxidative degradation. It's a mouthful, I know. But it just means they literally break apart.
And when they do, they create some really nasty stuff, like toxic aldehydes that can actually damage our DNA. In fact, some studies found that heating up common vegetable oils can release these things at levels that are up to 20 times higher than the recommended safe limit. Yikes.
Okay, I know that was a lot of chemistry, but what does this all mean for you tonight when you're trying to make dinner? Let's boil it all down into a super simple, practical guide that'll take you from being confused in the oil aisle to totally confident in your own kitchen.
Honestly, it's this simple. Just forget the whole good guy, bad guy thing. From now on, just ask yourself one question. How hot is my pan gonna get? Step 1. If you're cranking up the heat for searing or frying, you need a stable, saturated fat like ghee. Period. It's built to handle it. Step 2. Just doing some gentle, low-heat sautéing or baking, a regular canola or soybean oil is totally fine. And step 3, no heat at all, like for a salad dressing, that's when you want to use those amazing cold-pressed, unrefined oils to get all their great flavor and nutrients.
So you see, the smartest path forward isn't about throwing out all your seed oils or only using ghee. It's about moderation and, more importantly, context. It's really just about using the right tool for the right job. You wouldn't use a hammer to cut a tomato, right? Same idea. Use ghee for high heat and use those other unsaturated oils when the heat is low.
So let's just completely reframe this whole conversation. Instead of asking, is this oil good or bad, let's start asking, am I using this oil the right way? That's the real question. When you focus on temperature instead of getting caught up in the online drama, you can use all kinds of fats to make amazing food, and you can do it safely. It's a really simple shift in thinking, but it gives you the power to make the best choice every single time you step into the kitchen.